Recent studies in India has shown that every 1 in 100 children below the age of 10 has autism. We do not know the exact cause. However, genetics and heritability play a significant role. Autism is not a mental health disorder, it's a neurological disorder. Before I start talking about raising a child with autism, I would like to talk about an incident. I have a friend, so we grew up together. So maybe we were in grade 9 when this friend of mine told me that, in grade 11, I am going to take maths, physics, chemistry as my subject. After that, I'm going to join this particular engineering college. And from there, I want to go to the US, continue my master's in computer science. And I want to work with this company. And at 25, I want to do this, 30, I want to do this. And she had everything so well planned. So after she finished her 12th, she did go to that engineering college that she wanted. And after her engineering, she did get admission into the university that she wanted in the US. And when she left for US, we lost touch. I think somewhere around 2010 or 11, I get a call from an unknown number. I pick it up. And from the other side, this lady says, "Hey, Shubha, it's me." So I recognized, and she said, "See, Shubha, I'm in Hyderabad. Can we meet?" So I said, "Of course we can." And she came over. So when I saw her, I had a completely different image of hers. Like maybe she would be a CEO of a company, or a very, very smart lady walking through crisp and beautiful clothes and all that. And I see a very, very tired, a lady who looks beyond her age coming, and I was a bit shocked. So I asked her, "How are you?" So she said, "Life sucks." And then I said, "What happened?" So she says, "See, so what are you doing?" So she said, "I am a homemaker, and I am a mother of a kid who has just been diagnosed with autism." And so I said, "Yeah, life, what about your plans?" She said, "Yeah, I had made plans and God had another plan for me." So then she said, "Yeah, things were going pretty well. So I did land up in the job, my dream job. And then I married one of the best human beings. And then we had a child, and things were going pretty well with us. Then when my child was around 5 years old, we took him to for admission in the school. And that's where the coordinator of the school asked me to take my child to a health center to get a diagnosis, just get a checkup with the professional there for autism. So I took him, and they diagnosed him with autism, and I didn't know what to do. So I was going through, I was doctor shopping, taking my child to every other doctor, and they were suggesting therapies, and we were taking, and I was not having a life for myself, and it was a lot of strain on my job. So in the end, I had to leave my job, and I became a full-time mom, taking care of the house and the kid, taking him to different therapies, taking him to school. And that's what my life is now. So I'm now in Hyderabad and I wanted to consult you, so I've come here. This is something I have been almost day in, day out. I meet parents like this who come and tell me, like, ma'am, like I have kept all my dreams, my ambitions aside, and I don't even know how to deal with my child, where to take my child, when will my child get out of this condition called autism. So that's when I realized that I should be doing something called as psycho-educating the parents on how to raise a child with autism. And this talk is particularly a part of raising a child with autism. Today, our agenda is understanding autism in a layman's term, and what are the characteristics of autism, how it affects a child, the myths and misconceptions and facts about autism, why early intervention is must, and how to parent a child with autism. So I do get a lot of parents who say we have a lot of misinformation and there is a lot of stigma attached with autism. So what do we do? Is what many parents ask me. So, and I have seen that many parents, they blame themselves as soon as a diagnosis for autism is given. What is autism? Autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder. It means that a child is born with autism, and this autism does not have a cure, and it is going to be a lifelong condition. Recent studies in India has shown that every 1 in 100 children below the age of 10 has autism. And this is commonly seen in males and usually diagnosed around the 2nd year of life. In severe cases, earlier. We do not know the exact cause. However, genetics and heritability play a significant role. Characteristics of autism and its effect on a child's life in a very layman's term, because I want parents, psychologists to know what to look for. There is deficit in 3 areas. First area is social relationships. So when I say social relationships, these children may not be able to have eye contact. They may not be able to give appropriate facial expressions, body postures, gestures, or they may not be able to understand facial expressions, body postures, and gestures of other people. They fail to develop relationships with other children. They may not be able to imitate others. These children generally prefer to be alone, and they do not have a give or take relationship. They have deficit in social communication. Here, there could be a delay in speech or total lack of speech. Some children have speech and then they may have lost it. It's seen that these children have problems to initiate and sustain a conversation. And they have difficulty in receptive language, many a times also in expressive language. We see that these children are able to speak narrowly on focused topics, and usually they repeat what others have said or what they keep hearing frequently. They also have problems in imaginative thoughts. That is, they may be obsessed with a particular interest. They do not like changes in routine or environment, may prefer to eat certain particular type of food, they desire to have certain kinds of textures, or they avoid certain textures, and they may have some repetitive movements, motor movements, like flapping of hands, rocking, going round and round, things like that. So these are some things that parents should look out for. So we do have the myths and facts. There are a lot of misconceptions about autism. Many parents come and tell me, ma'am, my father, my grandfather, or my father-in-law, or they say, during our times, there was nothing like autism. This is a relatively new term, which people have invented now, and they're talking so much. It's a hype one. No, there are a lot of written material. There is a description of a child who is supposed to have had autism right in 1700s. And for the first time, Leo Kraner in 1943 described autism. There is also a myth that autism is a mental health disorder. Autism is not a mental health disorder, it's a neurological disorder. Doctors who have studied autism have revealed that abnormalities in brain structures and neurotransmitter levels lead to autism. But what we need to see is, usually children or people with autism, they have, they are twice as likely to have co-occurring mental health disorders, and they need treatment. Another myth is all people with autism have mental disabilities. Each and every person on autism spectrum is unique, and they have a wide range of intellectual abilities. It is difficult to assess or test, so even their IQs and their abilities. So most of their times they are underestimated or overestimated. So these testings or assessments should be done by an expert or a professional who is an expert in intellectual disability and autism. There are, as I was talking about a friend of mine, now her child is doing college with computer science as the subject. So we've seen that many children are able to get admissions into college and also work in variety of professions. Then there is a myth or a misconception that autism is caused by vaccines. There is no evidence that childhood vaccinations cause autism. There is a myth that autism is caused by poor parenting or refrigerator mothers. There was a lot of assumption that autism is caused by emotionally distant or cold parents. Even though we do not know the exact cause for autism, it is now firmly established that development of autism has nothing to do with parenting style. There's a myth that people with autism are violent. Yes, there are few recent stories relating autism to violence. Aggressive acts from autistic or people with autism usually arise because there is sensory overload or emotional distress. And it is very unusual for these people to act violently because they are jealous, they don't get along with people, or they want to take a revenge, something like that. And they hardly pose any danger to society. we see that mostly these people limit their exposure and interaction to other people because social situations can be very, very confusing for them and it could be anxiety provoking. Another misconception is all individuals with autism have savant abilities. Yes, they have higher prevalence of savant syndrome amongst those who have autism, but only 10% of people with autism exhibit savant abilities. Savant abilities means they are exceptionally good in one or two areas. Almost 90% of children who are diagnosed with autism have normal or less than normal abilities. There is also a myth that autism is caused solely by environmental factors. Genetics or genes have been identified as one of the causes for autism. Environmental factors may add on to them, but they are not the only reasons why children have autism. There is also a myth that people with autism do not feel love or they are cold and lack empathetic feeling. Yes, these people have difficulty with social interactions, but they can have close social relationships. Yeah, they do have problem in expressing their feelings, but it does not mean that they are incapable of expressing love. At the same time, these people also feel as much, if not more, empathy as others. But they do have a little bit of problem expressing their feelings. Last but not the least, autism can be cured. This is a myth. Currently, there is no cure for autism spectrum disorder. However, early and intensive therapies can reduce the severity of symptoms and help people develop adaptive skills for daily living, emotional and behavioral regulations, and social engagements.